I will never forget Lucky Charms 3, I think it was. It was a weekend thing where I think the first night was in Columbus and then the second night was in Cleveland. So basically you had people who could pick and choose which night they would want to go to, or freaks like us who drove all the way from Pittsburgh, went to Columbus the first night, crashed on a friend's floor, and then woke up on our friend's floor the next day, went to Subway with April Starr, and then drove to Cleveland and did it all over again. But I'll never forget, there was a DJ out of Cleveland by the name of Boomsy. And from what I remember, you have to forgive me now because these are some different days. I was dating Molly at the time. From what I remember, she had like a very Betty Boop kind of look to her, kind of like the black cut bangs, and she spun basically like very tribal drum driven techno. And I really, really missed that stuff. I loved it because back then you could watch a DJ like Boomsy just layer record on top of record, and you never knew really where one ended or one began, because there wasn't really too much that clashed. It was all just tribal drum patterns, so you could really layer the heck out of the stuff. And it wasn't like you really had to even worry too much about the key of the song, because for the most part there weren't a lot of melodic instruments. But yeah, I think it was in Columbus. She played a killer set. Trout Soup threw down some UK hardcore. Trout Soup was always kind of like a mentor to me to a degree, because he was a little bit older and he spun UK hardcore, or hardcore at that time, or for me, happy hardcore. And for a while there was something called happycore as well. But yeah, I would talk to him a lot, but he was a bit more of a, if I may, at least in my opinion, just a little bit more of a an underground happy hardcore lover. See, I whatever immediately surged my dopamine from the second that I heard it, whether it was commercial or underground, I would play it. And I remember him, and I can't remember the other guy's name. I'm gonna have to try to remember. He was from north of Pittsburgh. He was another hardcore DJ, but a lot of times they would say anything commercial, just avoid. Now, mind you, nothing in happy hardcore is commercial, really, but I understood what they meant. In that scene, avoid the big players. But to me, the big players were putting out the craziest shit, you know? It was basically epic uplifting trance, or that's what it was becoming. Epic uplifting trance at like 160 to 170 beats per minute. I mean, that stuff will shock you right to your heart and get you back in rhythm, you know? But we go to Cleveland, and I think at this time, what was this? Was this my 21st birthday or my 20th birthday? But April Starr saved the day, because we were in Pittsburgh, and I really did not expect to go. April had work, and she said, listen, when I get off work, I don't want to make any promises, but we'll see if we can all get out to Ohio and go to this party. And I said, if you can make it happen, that'd be awesome, because it's my birthday. So it turned out she was able to do it. We get to Columbus, we party. But then here's the coolest thing about this. On the second night, we go back to a house party, and they have turntables set up. And wouldn't you know it, they're DJing, and I'm kind of hanging out with the DJs, you know, and it's kind of a chill vibe. Everyone's coming down, and we're all just hanging out at this house, passing weed around, you know, smoking blunts and all that. Just conversations upstairs and downstairs. But eventually, most of the DJs kind of got bored and either left or chilled out and didn't keep spinning. And that was my chance to jump on the decks. And that's exactly what I did. Just as the sun was coming up. And I'm trying to remember if I brought my records or not. I don't think that I brought my records, because I don't seem to remember like a dance party breaking out 170 beats per minute during the sunrise at a house party. I think they had a ton of records there, and I was just doing what I could with their records. But I'll never forget that, because it was so cool. The sun was coming up over Cleveland, and it was just a good night. It was a long night. People were coming down and hanging out. And there I was getting my practice in at probably 6 o'clock in the morning at some random person's house that I'll never see again. I have no clue who they were. I wouldn't even know how to get in touch with them now. But it's the little moments like that that really make the memories. It's 6 o'clock in the morning, spinning on someone else's turntables in Cleveland on their records, getting experience, getting your chops, while people are just kind of chilling. And you know, it's an intimate after party, so I had plenty of people give me the look like, nice one, man. You know, I'd make a transition or I'd put on a record and people would be like, yeah, cool. And I think for the most part, I mean, I don't really know, but I think for the most part, people could tell that I was younger and still learning. And that's why I kind of got those looks. You know, the good moments were recognized and the bad moments were sort of ignored. But it helped, and it was super cool.